Thank you, Chair.
No? Okay. Well, we will just go directly to questions and we'll start with Senator Patterson.
Thank you very much, Chair. Minister, as you know, the Briggs report has been subject to multiple orders of the Senate. Yeah. Why did you release it to journalists yesterday, presumably on an embargoed and no third comment basis, rather than just provide it to the Senate as the government was directed to do?
Well, it was available online today from 7 o'clock this morning, we gave, I think, a couple of journalists who'd been following the story access to that.
But I saw
it's
the
also
stories.
been provided to the Senate at the same time.
Yes, but it was provided to journalists before it was provided to the Senate, because Ron Meisen at the AFR and Tom McElroy at The Guardian, no disrespect to them, good luck to them, they get a story.
They had been following the story. I don't think it's unusual.
Well, their stories went up.
You provide things to journalists before you do things, like it's...
I'm not subject to orders of the Senate, and I'm not a minister in a government.
I've fulfilled the order
you
to
are.
the Senate.
But why did you provide it on an embargoed, no third-party comment basis to journalists before you provided it to the Senate, given the Senate had ordered the production of this document multiple times?
Essentially at the same time.
No, it wasn't, because they were able to upload their articles fully written at 7 a.m. this morning. In order for them to do that, they would have had... Sorry, Minister, I haven't finished asking my question.
Well, I've complied with the order of the Senate.
I haven't finished asking my question. In order for them to upload those articles on time this morning, they would have had to have the report yesterday. Senators did not have the report yesterday. We've only now had the benefit of it this morning, knowing the APSC is appearing now. Would have been helpful to us to have it yesterday too, as journalists did, so we could prepare for our questions.
Well, I have no doubt you'll have plenty of questions. You were provided with an in-person briefing ahead of its release, which wasn't provided to journalists.
Yes,
and I've fulfilled the order of the Senate, Senator Patterson.
I think it speaks volumes about the government's approach to transparency and scrutiny, which is something you promised to do better than the previous government. You made much of that in the last couple of elections.
Well, we are doing a lot better than your government.
Well, I think it's pretty cynical to try and manage the release of this report by dropping it to selective journalists and restricting whether they can seek third-party comment and giving them strict embargoes, rather than just complying with the orders of the Senate.
I've complied with the order of the Senate.
Well, actually, no, you didn't, because the Senate directed you to provide this report many weeks ago, and it wasn't provided as directed by the Senate.
I've complied with the order of the Senate, Senator Patterson. I accept that you disagree with the way that was handled, but I've complied with the order of the Senate. Okay.
Well, why did the government sit on this report for 2.5 years?
For all the reasons that I've provided the Senate with, and my answer to that won't change.
Well, what are those reasons?
Because we were finalising the appointments framework, which has now been done, and this review was informing that.
Why did it take so long?
Because the work wasn't completed. You know?
What took so long for the work to be completed?
Well, there was a number of discussions across government, a number of discussions that I had across portfolios. It took longer than expected, but it has been finalised now.
There are lots of complex public policy issues that governments deal with. This is an important one, but not one of the most complex. It's about board appointments. It's pretty straightforward. The recommendations are pretty clear, as we've now seen. Is it because your ministerial colleagues didn't agree with the recommendations in the report?
Well, you can see the government's response to that through the appointments framework.
Yeah, I can, but I'm interested in your answer, not just the government's response.
Well, you can see there are a number of recommendations we didn't accept, but there were a number that we did.
Okay. Just confirm again for me the date that the APSC received the report from Linnell Briggs.
I think it was in August 2023, from memory. I'm not sure of the specific date.
Yes, Senator, if I could add, it's Rachel Bacon, Deputy Commissioner, Australian Public Service Commission. The report was received in August 2023.
So more than 2 years ago. When did the APSC begin its work in responding to the report?
So, Senator, we would have started analysing the report, and that would have been at Prime Minister and Cabinet in consultation with the APSC, given the current arrangements at that time. But work would have commenced on analysing the report and its recommendations.
But when?
In August 2023.
Right, from as soon as you received the report. So the government have been working on its response for 2 years.
We would have commenced analysing the report in August 2023, Senator.
Okay. When did you first provide recommendations to government?
Well, I would have been, I was briefed on it. We had a number of discussions on it. It was... So I don't know what you mean when you say when you provide recommendations to government.
Well,
I don't believe the APSC did. They were certainly working up advice to me on how to progress the report and some of the work that flowed from the report. And it also involved other agencies, as you would expect. Kind of understanding how... The thing about the Briggs report was, what she, and this is what I said in the private briefing, was what she found was that, support around the appointments process probably wasn't what it should be, and that the systems were opaque across government. She obviously was looking backwards at that time, so it was another government that she was looking at how appointments were being made, responding to that has taken, a fair bit of work has happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is a very simple process question that is asked, lots of times in estimates on lots of different issues. When did the APSC first provide advice to the Minister about the implementation of the Briggs report?
Well, I just told you. We would have had discussions.
There was no date in your answer, so it wasn't an answer to the question.
It would have been, it was after August 2023.
Well,
and in
that's not very specific, Minister.
Well, and it's been ongoing.
Right.
So, I've been engaging with the APSC on this at different times over the past 2 years, as you would expect.
I understand that, but perhaps the APSC can help here. When did you first provide written advice to the Minister about the implementation of this report?
Senator, we wouldn't normally talk about the details of what happens in the context of preparing for Cabinet submissions.
I'm not asking for what was put to Cabinet. I'm just asking when written advice was provided. It cannot be Cabinet in confidence when an agency provided advice to a Minister.
Very soon after receiving the report, because they would have provided a brief, presumably, with the report, I don't know specifically what you were after. There was a number of meetings I've had. There would be advice that I've had over the 2 years from the APSC.
I'm specifically asked after what I asked, which is when did the APSC first provide written advice to the Minister about the implementation of this report? I don't know why there's kind of sensitivity about this question. This is a very standard question.
It would have been quite soon after they received the report.
Quite soon after is interesting, but a specific date would be more helpful.
We'll see if we can provide something on notice. I don't have that before me.
Okay. Dr de Brouwer, do you remember?
Those initial discussions were with the APS Reform Office, which was in PMC at the time. It wasn't in the Public Service Commission at that time, Senator. And I can't recall the exact period. As the Minister said, there have been a series of ongoing discussions around the material and briefings through that. And I have no recollection of the exact first date.
We'll see if we can find it on notice, because it is not a secret. I'm sure we can confirm.
Wouldn't have thought so, but here we are.
I'm sure we can confirm the date that a first initial brief was sent up.
Great, that'd be really helpful. I'd appreciate that.
Senator Patterson, we're going to rotate the call. I'm trying to give it's 10 minutes each. Just because we're going to go to the lunch break, I'm going to give everyone a chance to have a crack first. We can then come back. It's just going to circulate the call.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Chair.
Senator